Hey, everyone. I am missing my special guest. Special guest. So today we do have a special guest. I just don't know where she is. So we're gonna wait a few more seconds till our special guest gets here. Excuse me. But welcome back everyone to another episode of Mental Health Mondays with Miracle. Hope everyone's having a great Monday. Excuse me. Hope everyone's having a great Monday so far and had a great weekend. So, yes, my special guest.
I was here.
Oh, it's a great special guest.
I was here the whole time. I was on time.
Okay, you're fine. So, as you can see, we do have a special guest. She is very near and dear to my heart. She is my first lady. She is my soror. So, I love First Lady. So, First Lady, can you please just give a brief introduction about yourself?
You just did it all. I am Dr. Jasmine Killebrew, and I'm very excited to be here.
So today's topic, we're asking, are you a victim, a survivor, or a thriver? Thriver isn't a traditional word. It's actually a scramble word. So it's kind of a made up word, but it's really big for our topic today. So we just want to know, are you a victim, survivor, or a thriver? But before we get into that, there's something I always forget to do. And my pastor gets on to me and other people get on to me. So I'm going to do it right now. We're going to pray.
Oh, yay.
Yes. So I always forget to do that. But I have it on my notes and it says pray, exclamation point. So I'm going to pray. So everyone, please bow your heads with me. Dear God, I thank you for this day, God. I thank you for waking us up this morning. I thank you for just amazing Monday, God. I'm asking that you continue to guide us through the rest of the week, Father. Asking that we have a great episode, God. I thank you for what you give me the ability to do, Father. Asking that this broadcast will help someone, help them through the week, help them through the day, Lord. Ask that you bless us all mentally, physically, financially, God. Asking that you just pour into us. Let us know we are loved. Let us know we are enough, and let us know we are worthy, God. So I just thank you. Claiming a great episode, a peaceful episode. In Jesus' name, I do pray. Amen.
Amen.
So I got that out the way. Pastor, that was for you. So hopefully you were somewhere watching this broadcast. So the first question is, what does victim mean to you?
Oh, wow. When I think of victim, I don't just think of someone who has been on the receiving end of an offense, but also someone who's still holding on to that offense. I feel like in order to be in the position of victim, you have to be acknowledging that, hey, someone has offended me. And I also believe that you also have to still be in the position of that you haven't let that thing go yet.
Okay. So when I think about victim, I think about, like you said, not letting go and just holding on to the hurt, knowing that this person hurt me and I'm going to hold on to it. But they say not forgiving someone or not acknowledging is like drinking the poison and wanting them to get sick.
Yeah.
So I can't really be upset with you and I'm going to drink this poison and expect you to get sick. And I'm the only one that's dealing with the consequences. So when you hear the word victim, just know, like First Lady said, it's not always about somebody doing something to you. It's also you not acknowledging what was done. And sometimes it can be hard. But you have to, I'm real big on, you have to hold that mirror up and say, this was done to me. This made me feel this way. You have to feel it. And I know that's something a lot of people don't like to do, but we have to for us in order to move on. So what does survivor mean to you?
Wow, to me, survivor means someone who has overcome something, whether that be an illness, an offense, or an obstacle. To me, a survivor is someone who has overcome a situation. They're on the other side of victim.
Okay. So I feel survivor is the same way. When I think of survivor, the first thing I think of is Destiny's Child. I'm a survivor.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I think of because it's like you said, you overcame something. And I feel we don't give ourselves enough credit for the things we have overcame. If you woke up this morning and showered because you're depressed, you're a survivor. If you had a suicidal thought but you didn't act on it, you're a survivor. If you got up, bathed your kids and got them off to school, you're a survivor. So those are things that we think we just have to do, but some people can't do those things. So if you're able to wake up, to brush your teeth, to hop in the shower and be like, oh, if you cry the whole time you're in the shower, but you get in the shower, you did that thing that you couldn't do yesterday or you couldn't do last week. So you are a survivor, and we applaud you. We are proud of you, and keep going. Every little milestone counts. Every step counts. No matter how small, no matter which direction, we're going to just keep going forward, but it's still a step. What does thriver mean to you?
Now, thriving is the step that I think a lot of us don't get to. A lot of times when we go from victim to, hey, I survived that, even in terms of sickness, or you hear cancer survivor, people who have survived things. To me, when you get to the point of thriver, that's when you're able to use those things that you've gone through for not only the glory of God and for the edification of his kingdom, but also to bring awareness, to bring hope, to encourage others, in order to counsel others, is when you take that thing and you use that thing to make you a better person.
Okay. Excuse me. So how we got this topic, I was in one of my counseling classes, and he asked us, are you a victim, a survivor, or a thriver? And all of us looked at him and was like, we're survivors. He's like, no, y'all are thrivers. Y'all are going through grad school in a pandemic. Y'all woke up this morning. Whatever situation y'all have overcame, y'all overcame it. So that's how we got the topic, because I said, I feel a lot of people are thrivers. They just don't know it. They don't know how to put a name to it. So I had to do another assignment. It was what was it called? Just like what I've been through in life, some of the traumas. So I literally had to go through my whole 25 years and just put down all the traumas and traumatic things I have been through. And I looked at that list and I was like, dang, like you have overcame these things and now you can talk about them. And I tell people, I don't mind talking about my story because it can help somebody. What I've gone through could be a blessing to someone else, and they could look at it like, if Miracle can do it, so can I. And I'm like, hey, look, don't look at me thinking I'm strong. This is not my doing. All of my power I get from God, because some days I don't feel like being this miracle that y'all see, but I know I have to, and I want to, because I have to keep thriving and I have to keep going. And you too are a thriver. You have to just look at everything you have overcame and what you're overcoming. Nobody said life was going to be easy. No one said it was going to just be rainbows and prettiness. You're going to have some storms. You're going to have some hurricanes, some tornadoes, all of that. But you can persevere if you keep trying. And that's the only thing I wanted us to do on my Mondays, just to encourage someone and let them know, hey, you got this. We love you. And you can keep going. But it starts with you. And letting people know if you're hurting. Letting people know if you're having a bad day. Because we're human. Everyone has bad days. So letting people in and not being so closed off and thinking no one understands. We have a lot more in common than you think. So when you look over your life and think about over everything you have overcame, what's the first word you think of?
Wow. Wow is the first word, because I think about all of the things that God has allowed me to go through, and it just seems like, whoa, just hearing it or thinking it out loud. Like if I had to make that list like you, I would think, whoa, I would be overwhelmed by the amount of things that I've had to deal with. But I also realized that the things that I've had to deal with were not all just for me. A lot of them were for me and for my growth and for my maturity and for my maturity in Christ. But a lot of those things were for other people. I believe that we have people that we are called to in life. That's a part of our purpose. And I believe that if we don't go through some of the things that we go through, then we won't be ready to minister to those people who need us. I was in counseling with, she's actually a pastor's wife who's local, and I was talking about what I was going through and dealing with. And she said to me, but a few years from now, you'll be on the other side of the table having this conversation with someone else. And had you not gone through what you went through, then you wouldn't be prepared to minister to them. So that's kind of the things that come to mind for me, is like, wow, God, you allowed me to go through so many things, like abuse, losing parents early, being born to teenage parents. I mean, and the list goes on and on. And a lot of times those things were overwhelming. And I lived almost my whole life as a survivor. Like, hey, I overcame that. I'm behind that. I've been to college. I've done this, and that. not realizing that I was a survivor, but I was not a thriver. I had not used those things to be my not my best self, and also to minister to others, because a lot of times we take our situations and we shield ourselves from other people and we're closed off, not necessarily because we don't think other people are going through what we're going through, but because we are ashamed and we're embarrassed and we feel like if we tell our story, then we just let people into the most vulnerable parts of ourselves. And it's like almost like you're walking around, raw, your most stripped down version of yourself. And a lot of times we want people to see who we've become and who God has made us now, and the beauty he's given us for the ashes versus where we've come from. But I believe that people who are new in Christ, or just people in general, they need to see where we started and not just the end result. It's like showing somebody this beautiful cake that you bake, and they're like, oh, I want to make that cake too, but you don't give them the recipe. You just say, hey, this is the product.
So like you said, I guess the word I would think about is like wow, or like geez. Just like, and I tell people, when I tell people my story, they look at me and be like, you don't look like what you've been through. That's the point. I don't want to look like all the things, losing my best friend when I was in school. Like I don't want to look like that.
Yeah.
But I don't mind telling my story either. But in order for you to tell your story, you have to deal with it. If you would have asked me as soon as we lost Ronnie, I couldn't even say his name. Now we're about 3 or 4 years in. I can tell Ronnie's story and not get emotional, not literally physically feel I'm about to throw up. So whatever you're going through, or whatever you feel you have survived, you're not really thriving until you can talk about it.
Yep.
And yes, you're going to have some emotions. Yes, you're going to feel some type of way. But if you feel you can't even get the words out, you're not really thriving. If you feel that even the thought of someone bringing up that person's name is going to make you physically sick, you're not really thriving. But that's okay. But don't keep it all in. Tell people your story. People want to know, how did you make it losing your parents at a young age? How did you make it being a teenage parent, like a teenage kid? Like what happened? How did you do these things? And like you said, people want to see the real you. I tell people all the time, I have a big issue of being vulnerable. That is my kryptonite. That is something I just hate doing. But I'm learning to be more vulnerable and letting people in and be like, hey, this is Miracle. The glasses, this is me. And take it or leave it. But I'm letting people know who I really am and what I've been through, because I don't know who my story could help.
Yeah. And when you've gone through a lot, it's super hard to be vulnerable, because your vulnerability is what caused you pain. You were in your most vulnerable form then. You were in your most innocent form when you were caused of pain. So I think that we have to give people the grace to be where they are in their journey. And that looks a lot of different ways for a lot of different people. And a lot of times, what we're looking at as being closed or not receptive or not willing to share is not any of that. It's fear of pain, fear of rejection, fear of being hurt. And it's sometimes a trigger for those things that we're actually still dealing with. And a lot of it comes from the pain, a lot of it comes from grief or unforgiveness. And especially unforgiveness, I think that's a huge thing with trying to thrive, is the unforgiveness. Sometimes that could be for self or other people, but I have learned to live without the apologies that I felt like I deserved.
Can you say that again?
I have learned to live without the apologies that I felt I deserved. I have learned to live with closure that I was never able to receive. I've learned to live with all of those things, and it's like narrating and creating your own story and your own journey, because no stories are the same. Some people are going to get closure, some people are not. Some people are going to get apologies, some people are not. But you cannot wallow and be a victim your entire life. That's what I have learned in my situation. Had I chose to be a victim, I would be in another place right now. But because I chose to take those things and take God at his words, like, hey, you said that you would give us beauty for ashes. You said that I'll be the head and not the tail. You said you never put more on me than I could bear. So it's almost like saying, you know what? You said it, so you got to do whatever it is that you want to do, because, Your word is not supposed to return void. So what you gonna do? Did I always believe it? Did I always see it? Did I always feel it? Absolutely not. It is literally a day by day. I still get triggered by certain things, but it's a day by day journey to try to get to my most vulnerable self, because I know, even though I don't always say it or it may not always feel like it, I know that there are people who are called to me. Mm-hmm. And those people need my story. Those people need Jasmine at her rawest form. They need to know what I've gone through, what I've overcome, so that they know that they are not alone. Those people need me.
Excuse me. And like she said, people just want to know they're not alone. People want to know someone understands, and everyone's situation is different. Everyone's life is different, but there are similarities. Some people just want to know, well, I lost my mom. Well, I did too. But it could have been at a different age. It could have been when you was a teenager and they was an adult, but it's still a parent was lost. So they just want to know. And like she said, give yourself some grace. If you do find yourself triggered, if you do find yourself going through something, feel it. But like she said, you have to forgive yourself. I seen something on some social media, and it was like, have you apologized to yourself? Like for some of the situations you've been in? And I never even thought I've apologized to others. And I was like, I've never apologized to Miracle. So I went and looked in my mirror and I was like, I'm sorry, Miracle, for some of the situations we've been in, for some of the situations we continue to stay in, some of the things we just went through and we didn't have to. Mm-hmm. And that whole day I was on like 10. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how powerful just the I'm sorry was to myself. So if you're having issues forgiving yourself, or if you just feel you're not good enough, a simple I'm sorry. And you have to forgive yourself whenever you're ready. So just know, hey, some stuff you went through, you probably shouldn't. Some people you've still dealt with, you probably shouldn't. But give yourself some grace because you're human. So apologize to yourself, learn from it, and forgive yourself. Don't keep beating yourself up for it because there's nothing you can do about it now. It already happened. Move on from it. So like she said, no one said life would be easy, but you're still here and you're still making it. So we're proud of you. Continue doing it. No matter what life looks like for you, no matter what your day-to-day activity looks like, continue on, because we are happy you are still here. We might not know you personally. We might just see you on Facebook and we might just be friends. We're thankful that we still see your posts. We're thankful that you still are here. And if you are crying out for help and you feel you just can't get the words, send an emoji. If you send a sad emoji, somebody gonna be like, okay, so are you sad? Did you mean to put that? Just ask for help. And I know that's the hardest thing to do, to let someone know you're hurting, to let someone know you need help. But that's the first step. If you really, really want to take this mental health thing seriously and you want help, I need help. That's all you have to say. And no one's going to be like, why you didn't say anything sooner? Why are you saying something now? No, we don't care about that. Thank you for saying something now. Thank you for trusting us to say something. Whenever you did, whenever you feel comfortable, reach out to somebody. It don't necessarily have to be us. It could be someone you're close with. It could be a family friend. It could be a Facebook friend, a Twitter friend. But let someone know you're hurting. And if you have to say, excuse me, I'm a victim or I'm a survivor, how do we work towards getting you to become a thriver? Mm-hmm. Have you told your story? Are you comfortable with telling your story? Do you feel confident in telling your story? If not, we don't have to tell it right now. We're not going to force you to do anything you don't want to do. But just know we really do care. And we want to know how you're doing. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to call ourselves victims anymore. We're done with that. Because if you keep calling yourself a victim, things are going to keep happening to you. You are a thriver. You are thriving. So the word victim shouldn't be in your vocabulary no more. You're not a victim. You are a thriver and you are thriving. No matter what it looks like, no matter how long it takes, you're going to get there. So victim is gone. You're no longer a victim. Yes, you might have went through some stuff in your life. You might have been a victim of breast cancer. You might have been a victim of sexual assault. You might have, but you're thriving. So we have to just change our language and pour into ourselves. Y'all know I'm really big on encouraging yourself, being your own cheerleader. Because sometimes the other cheerleaders got other stuff to do. They can't be in your stands. They busy doing their own thing. So you have to pour into yourself. And I am a thriver. I am a survivor. I am okay. I'm gonna make it. I'm enough. So just remembering those things and knowing that, yes, I've been through a lot, but I've overcame it, or I'm overcoming it. And I have this saying, I say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it wasn't built alone.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not, First Lady didn't get to Dr. Jazz overnight.
Mm-hmm. And there are days that I still don't feel like Dr. Jazz. There are days that I still feel like that 11 or 12 or whatever year old girl, because she's trapped inside of here. And if I give other people power and control over the way that I feel, then I'll always be 12-year-old Jasmine. I'll never be Dr. Killebrew or whatever. And I think it's important when recognizing that you're not a victim, that you relinquish that control. We can't give the people who hurt us control over us. Control over our mind, control over our spirit, control over how we feel. That person is able to change your mood just like that, just make your anxiety go through the roof. Or if you talk to them or you get a text from them, you go into a depressive mode for however long. Because every day you have to realize that you have purpose. You have a reason that God has placed you on this earth. You have a work to do. You have things that you are created to do. And you got to take that power back. God made you who you are. And when you give other people control and rule over you, then you push God's hand away and say, hey, you don't have dominion over me, because I'm going to allow that stepfather or that boyfriend or that girlfriend or that wife or husband or grandmother, whoever it was that hurt me, I'm giving them control. So you have to take that control back and give that control back to God.
So like she said, taking back power, it can look like many different things for many different people. But it starts with you. You have the control to stop letting that thing, that person, that situation dictate how you feel. They say people who anger you control you. If that person can get you that angry, they control you. They're not even thinking about you. You're losing sleep and they go to sleep every night, bonnet on, do-rag on, taking glasses off, and they go right to bed. They're not thinking about you. Take back that power. Like, you matter. You need to sleep at night. People can tell when you're not sleeping. And sleep is so crucial. Like, you need sleep. So if you're that person that toss and turn at nighttime, because like she said, you might not never get that apology. You might not ever get that closure. And that's okay. But accept it. Yes, they hurt you. Yes, whatever they might have done hurt you so bad. But forgive yourself. Know it wasn't your fault. And get some sleep. The same way that person ain't losing sleep, you shouldn't either. You can't drink poison and expect the other person to feel it. You can't. Because for you not forgiving them or not talking to them, oh yeah, I'm so mad at this person, I'm gonna never speak to them again. They see you every other day. Hey, how you doing? You like, why are you talking to me? They're like, what did I do? When I was 5, you don't remember? No, I don't. I don't know what you're talking about. So they don't even remember what happened. And you're 30 now. So it's time to forgive. And it's not even forgiveness for them. Forgive yourself for holding on to it.
Yes.
You're holding on to something, wanted them to feel it. You're holding on to that knife and you're squeezing and squeezing. And you're the only one that's bleeding. Drop that knife. You're letting go of it. Because they don't even know what they did anymore. They forgot. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Did I hurt you? What do you mean? I'm really asking. I don't know what you're talking about. So we're done drinking the poison. We're done holding the knife, expecting them to be cut. Because they're not feeling any pain from it. It's just you. And like we said, it's not gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna happen tomorrow. But just know that you can do it, but you have to stop expecting the other person to feel what you feel, because they're never going to. They're not. In some apologies and some closure you want so bad. This person, they need to say they're sorry. They're not going to. They're not. They don't want to own up to what they did. this person needs to tell me why they did what they did. They can't, because I don't even know why they did what they did. So they can articulate to themselves. How are they going to articulate to you? Forgive yourself for holding on and let go of that knife. Let go of that poison. And know that it's going to be okay. But it starts with you. And give yourself some grace. If you didn't think about what happened to you today, pat yourself on the back. If you didn't just think about, okay, how can I get back at this person? How can I get even for a whole week? Pat yourself on the back. We have to give ourselves some grace because this life thing is hard. It's really hard. Like if somebody tells you life is easy, where you live at? And can I get the address? Can I come stay with you? Because I ain't saying my life been hard, but it ain't been easy. Like I've gone through some things. Like if your life is easy, let me get the address and I can come stay with you. We'll let the good old apartment go. Let me come. You got an extra room? Ain't got a lot of clothes. I got my own blow-up mattress. Like let me come with you. Since your life is easy. No one's gonna tell you that. So if you are still making it, if you're still pushing on, if you're still here, pat yourself on the back and say, I'm proud of you. No matter what that looks like to you. For me, you will randomly see me, Miracle, you did that. If I get done crying, girl, you felt those feelings. You were vulnerable today. Like you let someone know that hurt your feelings. So whatever it looks like to you, you have to just give yourself that grace and let yourself know, I'm making it. And like
imagine being a person who died with hatred or unforgiveness in your heart, and you get into heaven and you see all the people you hated and all the people you didn't forgive up there because God forgave them. You gotta spend eternity with people that you're not even talking to on earth because God loves them. So I think one of the most difficult things to do is to love people who have hurt us. I have some people who have hurt me to my core that have like what I thought ruined my life, and I love them. I have people that I've had to forgive who I trusted. That's what you have to do, not just to be Christ-like, but also for your sanity, for your own depression, for your anxiety, for your peace. That peace is special. Like when you have peace, you have something special. So the things that people say, let it go. The things that they do, let it go. I don't care how big, how small it is. I don't care if it was a lie or if it was abuse. Sometimes you just have to let it go. And you got to love people who hurt you. You got to love them. That's your charge from God. You got to love
them. Excuse me. And she never once said it was going to be easy. Loving people that hurt you. She never said that. So don't think that just because she's a first lady and her husband's a preacher, it's just easy for her. No. At the end of the day, she's a human. She is 100% human. If I pinch her, she might say it hurt. She light skinned, she gonna bruise.
And I definitely hold grudges. I used to. That's been hard for me.
Yeah.
Like you made me mad. I used to be, I didn't care if I talked to you for 4, 5, 6, 12 years. I had a friend who owed me money now. She used to be my best friend. Girl, I ain't talked to that girl in 7 years. I love her. I love her though. She called me. Ashley, if you call me, I'll talk.
But yeah, we just have to remember that, like she said, who wants to get to heaven and see all the people you've been hating for years?
Yeah.
And then you get there and God, what they doing here? God gonna look at you. Who am I? And who are you? You trying to get in my house? Like I own all this. So you want interest in here. Forgive people. If God can forgive us every day, you gotta think. Y'all know my word. We are trash. We are trash. Some are glittery trash. I am glittery trash. If God can forgive us every day and let us try to make this thing right day after day, why you think you can't forgive that person? Why you think you gotta hold that grudge? Why do you think you are better than God? So it's like you have to forgive, and you have to know, just because I love you, excuse me, I can love you from a distance. I ain't gotta love you in my inner circle. I can love you down the street. I love you, but stay over there. Don't come over here. Don't come in Tennessee. Stay over there. but I love you. So just because you love someone and forgive someone don't necessarily mean you're going to be buddy-buddy again. You don't have to trust this person again. Y'all don't have to go out for coffee. I'm just taking back that power that you had over me. I don't, when I see you, I don't want to fight you. I can walk by and be like, girl, God bless you. And keep it pushing. I don't want to have to hit you. I don't want to see you in my car and I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I can just continue on, throw my hand out the window and keep going. So knowing that just because you forgive someone, you don't have to reconnect. You don't have to build back that relationship. Hey, I forgive you. Do you forgive me? I might have done something and I might not even have known. I'm sorry. Love you and keep it pushing.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people say the cliche forgive and forget. I do not subscribe to that. I believe in forgive and remember because I don't make the same mistakes twice. Like you said, just because I forgive you doesn't mean you have to be in my inner circle and doesn't mean I have to be vulnerable enough to put myself in the same position. So don't forgive and forget. Forgive and remember because you can recognize that pain. You can recognize that type, you know, stay away from it. You don't always have to restore after. You can restore the love in Christ, but the relationship doesn't have to be the same.
I used to say, don't get bit by the same snake twice. Because if you forgive and forget, you could get bit by the same snake. It could be a different type of snake. It could be still a poisonous snake, but it's still a snake that hurt you, that lied on you, that made you lose your job. And this is the second job you have lost. So don't get bit twice by the same snake. Remember that hurt, but don't dwell on it. Don't let it consume you. Don't let it change who you are. Because like she said, peace. Oh my gosh. Like that's something I have now. And I don't mind letting people know, hey, this piece I got, this right here is great. You don't want me to go back to that old miracle. And I'm not going to. Love you. And I'm gonna walk away. Because this piece I got lets me know you're not even worth it. Me getting upset about. I'm not gonna argue with you. For what?
It's okay to say that. I say that now too. You know what? This conversation doesn't feel good. Or this conversation is not going in the right direction. So, you know, I think we should stop. And when we're in a better place or when I'm in a better place to receive, then we should talk.
Because you never know what you might say. And you might think, I can have this conversation. I'm strong. I can do this. Somebody say something you don't like. You could forget where you at. Like, hey.
Why do I keep snorting?
You can forget where you at and be like, I'm like she said, we're gonna resume this conversation another time. I'm gonna walk away. And walking away doesn't make you weak. Walking away doesn't make you less than a man or a woman. You just know you. And I tell people, I know my temper. So I'm gonna walk away. Because if I don't, you're not gonna recognize this person. And I don't want you to see her. I don't really like her. When she comes out, it's not good. So I'm gonna walk away and you have a good day. That's it. You don't have to say anything else. That's really all. And people can say what they want to say. How I think about it, people dog Jesus out. He was perfect. How do you talk about a perfect man? If they dogged him out, why do you think, once again, we're trash? If they dogged him out and he did no wrong, perfect, why do you think people ain't gonna talk about you? Let people talk. People talk because they got a mouth. That's some people's sole purpose on earth, to talk because they have a mouth. And if that's their purpose, know that, learn from it. Like, you just talking because you got a mouth. You upset right now, but it's okay. I'm gonna let you be upset by yourself. The conversation's over. Have a great day. They can't argue by themselves. They say if two people arguing and someone from a distance, they don't know who the clown is because you're going back and forth with them. You're entertaining them. Don't be a clown. Let them argue by themselves and be like, hey, I don't like how this conversation is going. I can feel my anxiety. I'm getting hot on the inside. I don't like that feeling. So we're going to stop the conversation, hang up the phone, don't send the email, don't send a text message, and go from there. It's not that hard, but you have to do it. Excuse me. So we really hope this episode help somebody today.
Yes.
We are learning to be more of a thriver. No more victim. That is not in our vocabulary. So y'all know how we end this thing. It's okay.
Right. Well, before you start, I got one thing to say. So when we get on the screen, on my screen, no one else can see this, but on my screen it says you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. I have this thing where I feel like messages are everywhere, and I just want to say, piggyback off what you just said. In this game of life, you're in the show, and everyone can see and hear you. And if you're supposed to be Christian and you're supposed to be Christ-like, you can't be a victim, because your response should be like God responds. So that makes you a thriver. So you're in the show. Everybody can see and hear you, even God. Okay, now.
Well, no, I like that, because like that's big, because you're in the show. We got to act a certain way, and don't feel just because you're a Christian or whatever religion you are, you can't be who you are. Because I work with my pastor, and he gets the raw, authentic miracle. Some days he kicked me out of his office. Today, and it's Monday. He know we got 4 more days of this, so I'll probably get kicked out about 3 more times. But it's okay. I've come to terms with that. That's the greatness of working with your pastor. Life happens. He knows how I am. He gets the raw miracle. So you have to but I've come to terms with that. I love who I am. I love my Christian journey. I love how I'm just learning more stuff, and everyone's journey looks different. So just knowing that everyone's journey isn't the same. Everyone's life journey isn't the same. Everyone's Christian journey isn't the same, but it's your journey, and walk it and be proud of it. Because some people didn't make it. Some people lost to that thing we call mental health. Some people lost to that thing we call depression. So if you're still here, if you wake up and you have no reason why, you still have some type of purpose. Yeah. You might not know what it is. You might I'm just here to be here. No. You're here for a reason. So figure out what it is. And you are a thriver. Every day, tell yourself, I'm a thriver. Fake it till you make it. But you're not a victim no more. So that we're not even going to say that. You are a survivor or a thriver. So we hope this episode helps somebody. So remember, okay. So side note, sorry about it. So me and my sister and my mom had this whole debate on it's okay to not be okay, or it's okay not to be okay. I'm gonna just say how they want me to say it. It's okay to not be okay. You matter. We love you. I'm glad you're still here. We hope you have a great rest of the week. We love you. Keep your head up. So hope everyone has a great week, a great Monday. I think it's supposed to rain like the rest of the week, so make sure you have an umbrella or a poncho or something just so you don't get wet. We hope everyone has a great day. Hope everyone enjoyed this video. Please like, share, comment. I can take criticism. Let me know what you think. Love you. Thank you, First Lady.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being a guest. Bye.
Bye.
For our God's name is to be praised.